that would be, that's gonna be like the format that we would have in our book.
Okay, but so what does this find?
If you're looking on the second page.
Yes. No,
Okay,
first page. No, I'm sorry, second page.
Second page, down at the bottom where it's in bold, says we have allocated 4, in
so,
parentheses 5.
oh, I apologize, that was a typography number 1.
So that's not a reference to note number 5.
No, that actually we have allocated 5 state paid employees. So part of the explanation on that, in that letter, just being to explain the budget overall. In terms of how we receive funding in terms of employees, we have state paid employees, we have state paid county reimbursed employees, which are our spacers. We have county paid grant reimbursed employees, and then we have straight county employees. So on our state employee column only, which that funding comes directly from the state of Georgia and has been passed through for many of the counties, Gilmer and Pickens, that was just simply a notation of the amount that we are allocated on a circuit-wide basis by the state and the benefit that Gilmer County is receiving for 5 of those state paid positions, at least in part.
Okay, on this sheet,
Mm-hmm.
that 385, that includes total reimbursables, correct?
That is the total
Social
amount.
Security, Medicare, retirement, everything,
Yes.
right? Okay.
Yes. And on the, what you're gonna see on the salaries and wages would not include the group insurance, the FICA, all of those. That would just be the amount that is paid to the employee, obviously.
On that, you're talking about over that 39,
Under the
143, that first number, okay?
Yes, that would not include all the
Because that's
FICA.
the one that the Gilmer County actually pays
That is
completely.
That comes straight out of the Gilmer County budget, which all of the group insurance, the FICA, Medicare, the Medicare contributions, all of that is simply going to be based on that 39,143.32. The reimbursable salary and wages
The
includes,
385 includes everything that we reimburse to PAC or
that is
Dickens or well, PAC.
yeah, it would be the prosecuting attorney's council, because they bill us not just for the base salary, but for all of those reimbursables. So that, once we send you the monthly invoices, that's calculated off of the monthly invoices. And then I have included in here just a breakdown, not just for Gilmer County, but for Gilmer, Pickens, and Fannin counties, of each one of the employees that are located in each one of the counties, what their position is, their funding sources, and then also, in addition to that, did it in a slightly different manner, just simply showing an organizational chart as to Exhibit C. Exhibit D is the itemized breakdown substantiating the numbers in Exhibit A per employee. And Exhibit E showing the case count that we have in terms of the number of cases that were opened, with a comparison of 2017, 2018, and 2019, running that from January to September to kind of give an accurate right now. When I came in last year, obviously, one of the concerns that we had, particularly with the existing structure that we had in the office, going from January to September of 2017, comparing that to 2018, we had a 20.78% increase in the case count last year. Comparing our numbers from January 2019 to September of 2019, compared to the same numbers in 2018, we have again had a 20.6% increase in our case count, which of course would be phenomenal if we were in private business, but having that kind of increase in caseload in our office obviously creates additional strain in terms of man hours and existing resources. One thing truly that has been somewhat of a shift from historical case counts, we have in great part on a circuit-wide basis between Fannin, Gilmer, and Pickens had a case count that was very commensurate with population. So Pickens County generally carried the highest case count and the highest number of open cases, and then it would go Gilmer, and then it would go to Fannin because it tracked population. What we have started seeing last year and more significantly into this year is that we are having a tremendous number of new cases that are being opened in Gilmer County. And you can see actually on Exhibit E that on a circuit-wide basis in 2018, Gilmer opened 36% of the cases on a circuit-wide basis. In 2019, Gilmer opened 41% of our cases circuit-wide. Currently, open cases that we have pending on a circuit-wide basis, Gilmer County is carrying 38% of the caseload.
What's driving that increase? You know?
There are a lot of factors I think that could really come into play in terms of the calculation on that. Of course, we don't just prosecute in Superior Court. We do prosecute in probate court, juvenile court, and then we have all of the accountability courts. Now, what is not included in our case count is you are seeing no cases that are being handled in probate court included on that case count. So I had contacted probate court for cases that were opened in January to December of 2018. They opened approximately 1,500 cases in 2018. We are over 1,600 cases to date in probate court alone. I think part of what we're seeing truly in terms of maybe some of the disparity that is existing between Gilmer and Pickens counties, and you're kind of seeing that jump in Gilmer, is there is magistrate court in Pickens County actually handles a lot of their cases on county ordinance violations. So oftentimes we are able to address cases within the magistrate court there, so they don't necessarily always get transferred up to Superior Court that add to that additional case count in Superior Court. And frankly, I just simply think law enforcement is making a lot more cases.
Maybe they're doing a better job. But
They're doing a great job.
Stop doing such a good job.
Yes.
They look at the arrests by county in between Fannin and Gilmer, because the population isn't that different. I mean, it's drastically less arrests in Fannin than Gilmer, and I'm not sure why, because I don't think the people are more or less criminal.
No, and I was saying, historically speaking, oftentimes it does, it has tracked commensurate with the population, but we have seen a huge jump in Gilmer County, really beginning last year and especially into this year. Also understanding, I mean, we prosecute cases, not just coming from the sheriff's office. We're prosecuting with the city police departments on any of those cases that gets transferred up. DNR, GBI, any law enforcement agency that is making a case here is generally what we're going to see. The only courts we do not prosecute in are going to be your city courts, your municipal courts, and that's going to be a misdemeanor offense that was returned into that court unless they transferred over.
You know, without drawing any particular conclusion from this, if you look into the open cases by case type, the three counties track fairly well across all categories except one. In felony drug, Gilmer is way out in front of either of the other two.
And we're still not making a dent.
Yeah. Or maybe they just got smarter criminals.
Well, and I think part of the thing that you look at, and there are so many different factors to come into play, is I know that one of the focus is that Sheriff Nicholson has had is focusing and having essentially a focused team doing drug interdiction. And so truly that may account for that larger increase that you're seeing.
But is that not a three-county team?
Well, so historically, we have had the Gilmer Mountain Parkway Drug Task Force. And that was a drug task force that was comprised and basically oversaw by all three of the sheriffs in each one of the counties, myself and Larry Callahan being the member at large. There has been a shift in that fairly recently over the last couple of months. And Pickens County is actually going with the Seaman's organization in Cherokee County, and Gilmer and Fayette have opted to go with the Appalachian Regional Drug Enforcement Office that is actually overseen by the Georgia Bureau of Investigation. The amount of resources that are going to be available, really truly respectively, to each one of the counties doing that split is astronomical. It's not really going to have a financial impact to each one of the counties in terms of the amount of contributions that have been historically made there, but the amount of resources that are going to be available to law enforcement to handle those cases is phenomenal. In addition to that, though, Sheriff Nicholson really, I think, has also developed within his own department a focus towards those drug cases, working in conjunction with the Gilmer Mountain Parkway Drug Task Force and soon to be with the ARDEO.
Let me back up just a little bit to page 3.
Yes.
Next to the last paragraph, is talking about the vehicles.
Yes.
So we're looking at capital outlay request of $20,000 for the purchase of a replacement vehicle, which by a replacement vehicle, I assume you one.
Yes.
Okay, is that $20,000 per county?
So I had in the budget requested in terms of funds that were allocated, I had made a request for $20,000 for Gilmer and $20,000 for Pickens in the existing budget. Frankly, my intent would be to purchase one vehicle. I do not actually believe that I would need the entire amount, and I would split it equally between Gilmer and Pickens. I do have a printout for our current vehicle inventory, just to kind of show you mileage-wise what it is that we have.
And I'm not questioning the need for it. I'm just wanting to be clear on how many counties are involved and so forth.
My intent would be to purchase one vehicle on a county-wide basis, and I have requested a source of funding coming from Gilmer.
The same amount.
Same amount. Although I do not think the entire amount will need to be utilized.
And why was Fannin not included in that?
That was based on the existing budget request that I had already made in Fannin and the allocation on the case count in comparison to what they had. The amount of cases that they were carrying on a circuit-wide basis in comparison to the amount of budget request that I had made
Okay,
was,
so
it
it's-
was equal. It would have put them over their share.
Okay. So you're basing it on not so much population or quality as caseloads?
I said my intent was to base it on a caseload.
And I'm good with that, I just want to be clear on
that
what
was-
we're talking about.
On the first salary wage line, 39,143. That is just junk.
So, the first one would be, Joan Rutledge, 39,143. That also includes,
which we also get reimbursed for.
yes, so for Joan, there is, $33,795. The county actually receives back, because she would be a county paid grant reimbursed employee. So, her entire salary would net, the difference in that would actually be supplements, that additional approximately $5,500. Now, one of the things that we have had that has occurred in the office previously, when I came in here last year, Stephen Spencer was our chief assistant district attorney. He has decided to retire after over 30 years of prosecution. I have left that position open. So the position that would be filled would actually be located here in Gilmer County. Candidly, one of the issues that we face then here is attracting experienced prosecutors to come into the area. Generally speaking, if you are going to prosecute here, most people would want to be able to live and reside here. One of the problems that we have, and I can't say it's necessarily unique to us in the Appalachian Circuit, but in rural circuits statewide, we simply don't have the funding and the resources available to us on county supplements to compete with what they have in the more metro areas. So I am requesting, of course, to be able to keep those additional supplement amounts and funding available. So I will be able to utilize that for that position once it is filled.
Are there any other capital other than the vehicle?
Yes, sir. One thing that we are facing, but it was my intent to include that on the office expense line. Of course, that office expense line covers everything from our continuing education, bar dues for the attorneys, anything that we would need on an office-wide basis. We are going to have to do upgrades on our computer systems in the upcoming year because of the date of the software on the existing computers. We have been informed that that is outdated and they will cease providing us with technical support if we do not upgrade. So it is my intent to take that out of our existing, what has been allocated to us historically. Here on that quarterly draw is annual amount that we take on a quarterly draw is $35,000. However, Out of that amount, of course, is also allocated at that .0315 PAC expense that they charge us for handling payroll on all of the stations.
Do you have an idea of what the upgrades are gonna cost you?
We have sent out on requests on what that will cost. I do not have that back. We've attempted to be as frugal as we can with the existing funds. It is my hope and anticipation that we'll be able to work within our existing budget to make that happen. We have, and I have also requested, and you can note on Exhibit D, as it would relate to the salaries and to the straight county salaries as well as the PAC reimbursement for a 4% increase that I would be able to allocate to the employees. And frankly, a big portion of that is so that not only is there difficult in attracting experienced employees, prosecutors and investigators, but also retaining. Of course, with the PAC reimbursable, if there is a state increase on our straight state employees, our spacer employees do not enjoy that same increase because the source of funds is of course different. So trying to keep our spacer employees on track with our state employees as well. Actually, in terms of a breakdown on a circuit-wide basis for what my budget requests were for Fannin, Gilmer, and Pickens on a total amount. I have done a breakdown percentage-wise for my budget request for this year. I mean, 54. So budget request for this year, if you consider both Fannin and Gilmer, because they have employees coming out of their payroll for with rent reimbursement, that they would, that Fannin, Gilmer would be paying 32.34% of the total amount of budget on a circuit-wide basis, notwithstanding that 38% of the caseload is carried in Gilmer. The only county that I do not receive grant reimbursement for is actually Pickens, so it shows the 30% portion of what they pay is actually higher. Yes.
Well, one difference between this budget and the others that we've looked at is that I had a number of days to kind of pour over these others, and I'm just looking at this one.
No, and I apologize.
No, it's not a problem, it's just that I'm gonna need some time to really kind of pour over all this, because I need more than what we've allocated to look at a budget.
No, and I understand, obviously, my budget tends to be a little bit more complicated. Yes. When I deal with three counties, the state and grants, it tends to, that's more information, or requires a lot more information.
Yeah, this one does require a little bit more pouring over than the rest of them. Head scratching. Yeah.
Questions?
Joanne, do you have questions?
Not yet, it's so different that.
Yeah, that's why we were just, yeah.
Trying to
Any
compute.
other, anybody, any questions? Well,
So maybe we do this hard pressed, we get rid of the bad guys and we drop down lower.
Yes.
For a few years. We look like the tough county to be in and all the bad guys want to move out of our county.
so in this,
Yes, it absolutely
It would.
would.
I know it would make Allison's life a lot
Yeah.
better. Yeah.
in this particular situation, when I started really kind of going through all this, I have an urgent question, I may just give you a call.
Well, please do, and any information that I can provide, that would have been requested, to the other counties, I'm happy to provide any of those budget proposals. They received a packet that was very similar to what I have here, but I'm happy to.
We appreciate it.
Thank you, and thank you for the explanation and everything, and for what you do.